Dan Dickau here for the ISO on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. It's a Wednesday, meaning one thing. It is Mailbag Wednesday. Today, September 7th. Hard to believe. We're already a full week into September. Lots of schedule releases are being dropped from schools all across the country. Still waiting patiently for Gonzaga's schedule. I know that there's 2 games that haven't been leaked yet, that they're just waiting on the final word, get the contract signed, and then my understanding is, then that is when the schedule will be released. But back to Mailbag Wednesday. You have a question, send it my way. Direct message me on Twitter at DanDickau21, Instagram at DDickau21. Send it to one of our social media channels at Gonzaga Nation SI, whether it's Facebook, whether it is Twitter, Instagram. I believe we've got some people in charge of TikTok now. Don't ask me to do a TikTok. I just can't do it. Or you can email it to me, dickout@scorebooklive.com, where I will take your questions and I will do my best to answer them. Could be basketball related, could be Gonzaga centric, whatever it is. Send your questions my way. So once we get into the season, there will be a prize if your question is selected as the best question of the week. So we'll just jump right into it. Phil from San Jose asks, what is your favorite type of offense? That's kind of a loaded question. I think there's lots of different great offenses that are out there. Gonzaga uses a number of them well. But I guess if you're just looking at what my favorite offense is, pretty much any offense that is predicated or strongly reliant on pick and rolls and dribble handoffs. Those are 2 things that I felt allowed me and helped separate myself as a player, is the pick and roll and the dribble handoff. Being able to understand and recognize how to manipulate the defense with changing speeds, changing directions, and then understanding spacing and defensive rotations, whether it would present a shot for myself or a play for my teammate. So anything reliant on one of those 2 things would be what I would like to play in when I was a player, or what I like to coach now with different AAU groups I've been a part of. The couple different ways that you get into a pick and roll can be off of movement, or it can be off of just straight setting a pick and roll. Gonzaga is one of the more reliant on pick and rolls in college basketball nowadays. Early 2000s didn't run a ton of pick and rolls. I wish we would have. But side pick and roll, top pick and roll doesn't matter too much to me. Dribble handoff actions were great in the Princeton offense, which is where I had my most success in the NBA with the New Orleans Hornets that Byron Scott ran. So Princeton offense, I liked. Flex was good for me in college. Kind of a block to corner, cross screen to a down screen, where you could really kind of mix the defense up. If they switch early or they jump early, there's different counters out of it. So you got to really be able to read and react quickly and then come up off the screen ready to shoot it. The ball screen continuity Gonzaga runs now would be fun to play in. So, that's a tough one to answer too perfectly, but really any offense that has a ton of pick and rolls or dribble handoffs would be my favorite offense. Ted from Coeur d'Alene asks, do you camp? No. We've tried camping in the past. We've done it. You have to camp at some point. We've done the RV trips. We've done the trailer trips. They're fun on occasion, but they're a ton of work. I'm not saying I won't camp again. I'm sure we will camp with our kids in the very near future in the next few years. Might even be in our backyard. But, I would prefer an RV excursion or a travel trailer excursion as opposed to true tent camping. So appreciate the question, Ted, but I do know there's tons of great spots here in the Coeur d'Alene area, Spokane area, where obviously you're from. So thanks for that question. Last one comes from Sam in Spokane. His question is, what are your thoughts on the field of 68 not having Coach Few as one of the top recruiters? Um, I saw those lists. This is the time of year where you'll get a whole bunch of lists that are generated, and they create a lot of buzz. They create a lot of excitement. I personally don't get overly excited one way or the other on these. There's obviously some great names that were at the top of their list of recruiters: Calipari, Penny Hardaway. Um, those two come to mind right off the top. I think they were the one and two in the recruiting. Then you had some kind of newcomers to the list. Tommy Lloyd was in the top 15, I believe. John Shire, I believe, was in the top 15. He hasn't yet to be a head coach for a game. He's recruited as a head coach now, but he hasn't coached a game. But what I go back to with Coach Few in regards to this, he's a tremendous evaluator of talent and an evaluator of how that player would fit in Gonzaga's program, and then how to utilize that player as they develop at Gonzaga. So I wouldn't get too up in arms about it. Gonzaga has been able to recruit some McDonald's All-Americans over the last 7-8 years. You look at a Zach Collins, you look at a Jalen Suggs, obviously a Chet Holmgren, Nolan Hickman is in that category. Hunter Salas was a highly rated recruit like that. So they're getting 5-star recruits now. But Gonzaga, they're going to be very selective in those true kind of 5-star guys that are getting all that notoriety. They're going to be selective in who they go after. They've got to fit the culture. They've got to fit the style that Coach Few wants to play. They've got to buy into all that. And I think that's what separates Coach Few so many times on the recruiting and the staff, is that they do a ton of the due diligence early, so they're not going to have issues of guys bailing, jumping into the transfer portal when some things might not necessarily go their way. So I wasn't too upset that he wasn't on that list very high. I think it actually shows more, in regards to he's not going after every single 5-star that's out there. He's finding guys, many times hidden gems, developing them, putting them in the program, in the system, and fitting seamlessly. So thanks again for the questions. If you have a question, send it my way. As mentioned, take care, have a great day, and we'll be back with another episode soon.